In my previous video, I unboxed and reviewed the Codex Crystal Saber from NEOSABERS.com. And what makes this saber particularly unique is the fact that it has an exposed kyber crystal. That crystal rotates, it'll match the color of the blade. There is an LCD screen, and that LCD screen will change based on every sound font. So there is the Wanderer. Now, if you want to change up these pictures, you can. I'm going to show you how to do that. So today I'm going to show you how to change the picture, how to upload new sound fonts, and I'm going to give you a quick overview of the Xeno Configurator app. Let's begin. Hello once again to all my Jedi and Sith companions. I am your host, the Frugal Jedi, and thank you for joining me as we take a deeper look at the Codex Crystal Saber from NEOSABERS.com. First, let me give a big thank you to one of my viewers who commented on the unboxing and review video, because I did mention that I am going to be going more in depth with this and programming it. And that user deleted, redacted, posted pretty much everything I needed to know on how to customize the image. And what's funny is I looked around online and I couldn't find any information about it. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right spots. Maybe this particular person has some hidden knowledge that no one else knows about.
Is it possible to learn this power? Not from a Jedi.
First thing we need to do is we need to access the MicroSD card. Now, to do that on this particular saber, this one does not have a section where you can unscrew it. So it's all built together. It's all one long piece of metal, except for the pommel, which we're going to take off. I'm also going to remove the blade plug. Drop that out. All right, I'll shut it off.
The night.
It's always good practice to make sure that there's no power. And I just keep holding the power button down.
Power off.
I hear power off. So now, no light, it is off. Right behind the button, you're going to see two screws. Let's go up here. So there's that one, and there's that one. These will come off using the little hex key that they include. I'm going to use my own just because it's much easier to hold. And I'm just going to unscrew them and take them out. So there's one. And remember that the bottom one, try to get that focused, has a little point on it. And so that is the bottom one. The top one is a slightly different design. It's quite a bit longer. And what this does is this pushes the button forward. So I'm just going to unscrew it by hand now. Like that. I'll let you have a look at that piece like that there. So now I can put my finger and I can push the button inside, just to get you an idea what that should be like. Okay. So now I need to get the core out. So I'm going to push the core from the top down. You have to be really careful though, because you don't want to accidentally damage the pins. So I'm not going to use my finger. I could, but I don't want to. What I could use is I could use the blade plug itself. I'm going to drop the blade plug in there, and I'm going to push the blade plug. That way the blade plug is applying pressure around the edges and not in the middle. I don't risk damaging or bending any of the pins. So I'm just going to push, and beautiful. Look at that. Easy. Like so. And boy, is this core beautiful. Look how shiny and pretty that is. And the battery is right there with the kyber crystal on it. And on this side, you'll see the micro SD card sitting right there. So I'm gonna just pull that out with my finger. And there we go. So now the next step is I have to take this to my PC. I'm going to plug it in and then we'll take it from there. I'm going to take my micro SD card and put it into the USB adapter and plug it in. I'm going to open the folder to view its contents. The first thing you should do anytime you are manipulating files on the micro SD card is you should always make a backup of it, because if something were to happen, it becomes corrupted, or you accidentally delete something, or you format the micro SD card, that would be really bad. You're going to lose everything. So you're going to see a bunch of folders, 1 to 34. So those are the SOUNDFONT folders and the setting folder. So I'm just going to select all here. You can press Control A or you can just drag. I'm going to copy. I'm going to create a new folder on the desktop for now. Call it backup. Oh, my caps lock is on. Backup of Xeno v3. And I will paste all my files into there. Now I have all my files safely backed up. I can close it and look back at the USB drive. If we have a look at the first folder, which is the first SOUNDFONT, you'll see all the files having to do with the particular lightsaber. For instance, the sound effect for dragging, or when the drag starts, blaster blocks, clash effects. And if I want to know what sound font this is, I can listen to it. So the file will be font.
The Chosen.
Or I can double click font config. Now font config is a configuration file. So if it doesn't open, you can right click, choose open with notepad. So this one's called the Chosen. And these numbers here have to do with the color of the blade style, ignition effect, preon, the out and the in time. You really don't have to touch any of this. You can do all this through the app. So the Chosen. We know the Chosen is Anakin. If I want to put a photo of Anakin different than the one that's included, I need to download a photo off the internet. Now keep in mind that once you replace the stock image, you cannot get that stock image back unless you have the original stock image files. I don't have them. I would have to contact the makers of the XenoPixel board, who is LGT Nexus, and ask them if they have the original files. If I ever want to go back to having those original images. I'm not too concerned about it because the images I'm going to put on are going to look better than the default ones they have, so I'm okay with it. But keep that in mind. Even if you factory reset the Saber, it won't make a difference. Those pictures are going to be changed permanently. I'm going to open up a web browser. I use Chrome, but you can use whatever you like. Search for Anakin Skywalker. And I'm going to choose images. And I can have a look through all the different images. When you're selecting a photo or a painting or drawing, whatever, you want to make sure that you're selecting something that is portrait mode. So you don't want something that is widescreen. You want something that is narrow and taller. So let me just have a quick look and pick something here. Yeah, well, I think the first one at the top here. this one right here. I need to be able to save this file as a PNG file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it, choose copy image address, open a new tab, and I'm going to type in convert WebP to JPEG or convert WebP to PNG. Most images off of web pages are WebP format, so we need to convert that to PNG. And there are many different sites that'll let you do it. And this is not the site I want to use. I'm going to try a different one. Let's try free convert. That's the one. So free convert, I can convert an image from a URL. So that's why I right clicked on the photo and chose copy or copy location. So now I'm going to paste it. I'll click submit. I'll choose output as PNG and I'll click convert. Once the file is downloaded, I'm going to open it. And this is using Windows 11 built-in photo viewer. You can use whatever program you like. I find this one is quite simple, so that's why I like to use it. If you are using a Mac, I'm not sure what program they have, but the principle is the same. So follow along and hopefully you can figure this out as well. The first thing I want to do is I want to click on Edit in the top left. And we need to resize this so that it matches what's required. So I need to make it 160 pixels by 80 pixels. On the bottom center, there's a button that you can click where it says free. And I want to choose 1 to 2, like so. So that's the right aspect ratio. I can also zoom in if I want a close-up of his face, or do I want to see the lightsaber? I'm going to do it like that. Okay, now I'm going to press done. And I want to save as copy. We'll call it Anakin.png. All right. Now it's still not the right size because it's way too big. So now I'm going to click these three dots and choose Resize Image. I want to make sure that pixels is selected and the height is 160, which will automatically make the width 80 pixels. So that is exactly right. I'll click Save. I'll just overwrite Anakin. And there we go. Now, one weird little quirk is that the screen on that core isn't technically portrait. It is widescreen. And I learned this by uploading the photo in this orientation, and yeah, it didn't work. So we need to lay the photo on its side. Like so. So the head is always on the left with the rest of the photo going to the right. Okay, and that should have automatically saved. I'll just double check. And it did. I just refreshed the page to show you that the file size is tiny now, 24 kilobytes. Okay, so now that's ready to be put onto the Saber. I'm going to copy that file. I'll go to the USB drive. We're going to drop it into the first folder because it's the chosen. So I'll paste that. And the last thing is that you have to rename it. It has to be called font or font.png. I have file extensions hidden, so it's only going to say font. But if I view, I can show you, oops, I can show you the extensions. There we go. So it should be font.png. Now before I disconnect this, I'm going to download a new sound font and put it onto this microSD card to show you how to do that. I know I've done it a few times already, but I'll do it one more time in case you've missed those videos. And there are many different websites where you can get sound fonts. The place I like to go to get sound fonts is Grayscale Fonts. So I will search for that. The site looks like this. And they have a lot of free sound fonts, and they have their Extra Crispity sound fonts. So those are paid. Extra Crispity has amazing sounding sound effects. And they support things like Profi and Xeno and SM Pixel and Golden Harvest. I mean, amazing. And their prices are really good on this site. But because I want you to follow along, I'll use a free sound font. So we're going to download Stitched, the one at the very top, by clicking Download. You will have to log in with your OneDrive credentials, which are free to get. And you can see that there are a whole bunch of different options. I can download all of it, but I only need Xeno 3 or Xeno Pixel 3. And here's a zip file. So I will download the zip file. Click Download. Open the folder. Now I can't just drag this Xeno 3 zip file onto the microSD card. I need to first extract it. So I'm going to right click, choose Extract All, click Extract. And again, you can see all the different files for Xeno. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two windows open. I'll put one on one side, one on the other. So the USB drive on my left with the Stitch sound font on the right. I need to create a new folder on the microSD card. So I'll choose New, Folder, call it 35, because that's the next number. And I'm going to take all the files inside of Xeno 3, not the Xeno 3 folder itself. And I'm going to copy those onto the USB drive. Like so. And one more small thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a font config file. And what that does, it'll tell the Saber, and it'll tell that little screen what sound font it is. Because when you do switch between sound fonts, the screen will show you the sound font, the title of it. So to do that, I'm just going to copy the font config.ini from a different folder. So copy, paste it into 35. I will double click it, and I'm going to change out the word Moonfield, and we'll call this Stitched. I'm not concerned about the blade style, the color, because that'll all change as soon as I start editing it in either the app or the Saber itself. But I do want it to say Stitched. And save it. Now, can we add a new image for this particular sound font or this folder 35? And no, we can't, unfortunately. I'm guessing it's a limitation of how much space there is on the board, because these images aren't actually being stored on the microSD card. They're, excuse me, they're uploaded to a different area on the soundboard. So for every extra sound font you add past 34, so 35 and up, instead of having a custom image, it's going to have a generic Kyber crystal image. Now, if I really wanted to have stitched with a custom image, I could call it, or I could rename it to 34. I could make Moonfield 35. And then, yes, I could trick the board into having a custom image because it's going to work with number 34, right? It doesn't matter what number 34 is. It's just that's as high as it'll go. So yes, I could put a custom image for stitched, but I would have to make sure that it's not 35 or above. I'm not going to do that, though, because I'm not concerned about that. But that's it for now for the microSD card. So we have this font.png file for the first sound font, the Chosen, and we have that new stitched sound font number 35. When I plug the microSD card back into the Saber, I'm going to show you what it does on the screen, because it's going to take this PNG file and it's going to actually update it or upload it into the memory of the Xeno Pixel V3 soundboard. So it takes it from the microSD card and puts it into the permanent memory spot on the soundboard. So it's a little different. They don't live on the microSD card. And before you pull out a microSD card, you always right-click and choose Eject. If you pull it out without doing that, it's a small chance that you might corrupt the contents and you might have to format the microSD card. And that's why I tell you, always make a backup before playing with anything. Okay, so I'll choose Eject. And once it disappears off my screen, I can safely unplug it. And I'll take this out, plug it back in, and we'll continue at the table. With the power still off, I'll take my memory card and put it back in. Like so. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it on, and you're going to see something pop up on the screen. It says loading. Okay, and now I'll turn it on.
Power on.
So after it says loading, you have to power it on again. So hold it down until it says power on. Now I'm going to switch to the Chosen.
Wanderer. The Protector. Wanderer. The Knight. The Assassin.
Almost at the beginning.
The Dark Sword. New Horizon. The Chosen.
Okay, so here is the Chosen. And sure enough, there it is. Just like we had on the screen. I think that looks much better than the one they had.
New Horizon.
And you could go and do this to all
Dark
the
Sword.
sound fonts that are numbered 1 to 34. I mean, some of them are pretty good, like
Assassin.
the Dark Sword.
The Knight. Wanderer.
Let me just...
The Protector.
Okay, let me just go to the Protector here. So the Protector is that image. I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, of course, I'd rather have Ewan. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to put the core back in. Carefully sliding it up. And when you're pushing a core in, try not to touch that speaker, because that speaker has a diaphragm and you could dent it. So I'm just gonna... I'm not doing a good job here. I did not line that up well at all. It's always harder when you're trying to do something on camera for an audience than if you're just doing it yourself. Okay, so it's almost lined up there. You can see it. Just gonna put my fingers where that crystal chamber is. And I can use this blade plug again because the blade plug is only touching the outside. Okay, so now it looks pretty lined up like that. I'm going to take that long screw first and put it on the top. And what's going to happen is you'll see the button start to move into position. So let me just get that angle. There we go. There we go. That's good enough. You don't have to really crank it because, I mean, you could, but don't. It looks good like that. Perfect. If you wanted a little higher out, you could screw in a little more. And the bottom screw, same thing. This one has the point on it though. Don't over tighten it because you're screwing this into plastic, and if you over tighten it, you're just going to strip the plastic core. So I'm just turning it very lightly till it's flush, using the tips of my fingers, like so. Put the pommel back on. I'll put the blade plug in there, tighten it up. All right. I'm just going to get to the new sound font we put on there. So I'll just use gesture.
The dark. The third hunt. The mask. The dark. Moonfield.
So Moonfield is number 34, which is the last of the sound fonts that come with it. So the next one I go to should be Stitched, and it's going to have the word Stitch show up on the screen. So let me see if I can get this ready here. There you go. And like I was saying, you're not going to get a custom image. You're just going to have a kyber crystal. Well, whatever, right? But like I said, if you really want a custom sound font that you love and you want to have a custom image, just put it into one of the 34 spots that are already on the MicroSD card, and then you can kind of trick the Saber into letting you have more than 34 custom images. So let's listen to Stitched. Very cool.
Color change. Color selected.
Yeah, that's so neat. So the last thing I'm going to show you is the Xeno Configurator app. I just want to show you a few things. In my unboxing and review of the Codex Crystal Saber, I said that you couldn't adjust the motor speed on the app. Now, I don't know if it was because I did a firmware update or I was blind the first time I didn't see it. But yeah, you definitely can adjust the motor speed. So you can have that spinning faster or slower, whatever you like. I'm going to start the Xeno Configurator app.
App connected.
And it automatically connects to the Saber. Now, if you notice the top, it says Cortex Crystal 100%. If I tap on that, this is where I can rename it. So I named the Saber Cortex Crystal. Otherwise, it'll just call it my Saber. So I just choose rename, and you can give it whatever name you like. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. From here, I can also read the Saber configuration file. I can upload that configuration file back to the Saber. More advanced stuff if you're going to be editing the files on the config. I can also check for software updates, and it says that my software is the current latest version. I can factory reset. So factory reset will set all the blade styles and colors back to the original. It will not delete any of the additional sound fonts that you add. Also, it's not going to be changing those images. So like I said earlier, if you're uploading different images for the screen, the original ones are going to be gone unless you can get them back from LGT Nexus. I'm going to try to get the original files, and if I can get them, I'll put them in a link in the description of this video. Firmware, you can change it from single button pixel to 2 or dual button. Now this is not dual buttons, so we're not going to be touching that. And I can also choose to disconnect at the bottom.
The Assassin, the Knight, Wanderer.
So here I can cycle through my sound fonts.
The Dark Sword.
I can also do it very quickly, like so. And I can choose my blade styles.
Unstable.
I can turn the Saber on and off, all using Bluetooth app, which is so neat. The second icon on the bottom will let you adjust your blade length. A 36-inch blade usually should be at 132. I might have been playing with that number, or I might have reset the Saber at one point in time. But 132 for a 36-inch blade, 116 or 116 for a 32-inch blade. I will save that. And right here is where you can see where you can adjust the motor speed. So I'll turn the Saber on. Hold it up for you. And you can see once you get really low, it won't spin it at all. And that's 100% right there. I like it at 50, it's fine. Or even to 25. That looks good too. And I can turn off the screen using the app. I'm gonna try to hold this with one hand while holding the phone in the other. Like that. And the screen's turning back on. Now it's going to be blank because when you turn the screen off while the Saber's on, it just does this blank thing until I switch to a different sound font, and then the screen kind of reactivates again. So the third button on the bottom is where you can do custom things. There's custom function, custom light effect, and custom font. Custom function is where you can create your own type of button configuration. It is a lot of work, and I don't ever plan to do it. But for instance here, you can choose how to do clash. So you can have clash set as a button, or you can have clash set as a gesture, or when it bangs against something, just like it normally would. I wouldn't play with this because I'm like, if you screw up the button, it's a pain in the butt. I mean, you can delete it pretty easily. Like I'm using default function, and you can kind of get an idea of how everything is already set up. So you have all the functions while the blade is on, plus functions while the blade is off. Now battery level is not on the default, so you can't have it tell you the battery level on the default. Maybe one day I'll take the time to create my own custom button or custom function so I can find an empty thing to do so I can have the Saber tell me the battery life. I don't know. I can always just look on the app as well. Custom light effect, it has been saying more function awaiting for years now, since Xeno 3 came out. I don't know if they're ever going to have that done. I'm hoping one day they will. Now, custom font, you can use Bluetooth to add new fonts. So rather than taking the MicroSD card out of the Saber, you can download fonts onto your phone. You can shoot them using Bluetooth file transfer to the Saber. The only problem doing it is that Bluetooth file transfer is incredibly slow. like really, really slow. You're much better off putting the microSD card into your computer and just doing it like that. You can also download all your fonts. So you can back them up onto your phone. Again, Bluetooth, incredibly slow. Be prepared to have your phone sitting out all night to do an entire backup. So yeah, it's a cool idea. It's just the tech's not there yet. Bluetooth file transfer needs to be a lot faster for this to be any good. And the very last button will show you all the sabers that you have connected. So you can see that I've had Ren, like Sabine Ren Saber, BMF, who is Mace Windu, right? It's another word he goes for, and it was actually engraved on the hilt. So I'll let you figure that out. But yeah, so it just kind of lists all the saber. I don't know why Cortex Crystal shows 2 connected. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that it has a screen. I don't know. But yeah, so that's XenoPixel v3, the configurator, and how to change the images and how to add a sound font. I hope you guys will try this yourself. If you do have any questions about doing this, drop it in the comment section. I'll help you out as best I can. Also, if you found the video helpful, don't forget to give it a like. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. And lastly, don't forget to tap on that bell, so that bell will notify you anytime I upload anything new. Until next time, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you soon, and may the Force be with you.